Students, today we will continue with the desert rats and snakes. Desert rats and snakes stays in deep burrows in the sand to stay away from the intense heat during the day. Okay, and these animals come out only during the night when it is cooler. As we know that during daytime it will be very hot. Okay, so during daytime they will be going into the deep burrows of the sand. Okay, and they will come out only during the night. Night time the land become cool. That time they will come outside. Okay, that desert rats and desert snakes, they all are staying inside the deep burrows, and their body color, okay, of many desert snakes will be like this. Okay, and the color of the desert sand, hence they are less visible to their predators. Okay, mainly rats are eating those snakes. Okay, but the thing is that their body color of this desert snakes resemble the color of the desert sand. Okay, so it will be less visible to their predators. And you know one thing, and these desert snakes are deadly poisonous also. Okay, and the color, their body color of this desert snakes, most of the desert snakes resemble the color of sand. The next point, adaptations in desert plants. Till now we have discussed the desert animals. Now we will move on to the adaptations in desert plants. Okay, in desert plants, leaves are either absent, very small, or they are present in the shape of spines. So remember one thing, the spines are modified to leaves. This helps in reducing loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. Okay, leaves are either absent or very small, or they are present in the shape of spine. Leaves are modified to spine. That is adaptation of desert plant. Okay, and photosynthesis in these plants are usually carried out by the stems. Okay, the stem is succulent and spongy. Look at here, you can see through the spores the water will be loses out, we know that. Okay, but the thing is that leaves are either absent or it's very small. Okay, and they are present in the shape of spines. That point you have to remember, that is adaptation of desert plant. Stem succulent, the spongy, and which helps in storage of water. The stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer. Okay, the thick waxy layer may be present on the stem. Stem means that green color portion, no? That green color portion is the stem of the plant. Okay, so children, look at here. Here you have two plants. The one is the cactus plant and the one is a normal plant. Okay, so we are going to do an activity. So before that you need to know the peculiarity of this transpiration. Okay, so what happens is you just covered with a polythene cover and you keep it in the sunlight. And the second case also you can do like this, and 1 to 2 days you can keep it like this. So after some time, after 1 or 2 days, what you can observe is that, okay, the first case, the first case of plant, you can see in the polythene cover, it is fully water droplets can be seen. But in the second case, very few drops, 1 or 2 drops of water losses out. Means the transpiration rate is very less when you compare with the first plant. So what are the peculiarities? Yes, in desert plants, leaves are absent. Okay, leaves are absent means very small, or they are present in a shape of spines. Okay, the photosynthesis in these plants is usually carried out by the stems. So stem is succulent and spongy because stem has a thick waxy layer. Okay, that is why it cannot take water inside. I mean, it cannot go water outside. Look at here. Look at the cactus plant. So leaves are modified into spines. Look at here, that is actually leaves. Okay, leaves are actually modified into spines, and this is the stem. This is the stem, that the green color part. Okay, that is the stem. Okay, so it is succulent and spongy, which helps in storage of water. Okay, the green color part, the stem part. This is the green color part. The thick waxy layer which prevents loss of water from plant. Remember this point. It produces a thick waxy layer, so that which means that which cannot have any leaves over there. Most desert plants have roots that go very deep into the soil. We know that in desert region there is no water. Okay, but the thing is that the desert plants, normally the plants have a root, the root will go up to this layer of the soil. Okay, normally the plant's root will go up to this level, but in the desert plant the root will be going deep into the sand and it will absorb water from the underground. Okay, then but the very small amount of water will be absorbed and it never transpire. The rate of transpiration is very small. Okay, whatever content of water is there, that never lose in the form of transpiration. Okay, and the thing is that yeah, it has no leaves. The leaves are either absent or they are present in the shape of spines. Leaves are present in the form of spines, and photosynthesis in this plants usually carried out by the stems, and it has a thick waxy layer and it never allowed to go to water outside. Most desert plants have roots go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. Okay, we know that in desert region the amount of water is very less, so it go very deep. Okay, and I hope that you understood the differences in stem and how the leaves are modified into spines and how it store water. Okay, this is an important peculiarity. And the next terrestrial habitat is the mountain region. Next terrestrial habitat is the mountain region. Okay, in mountain region, as we know that it is very colder in climate. Okay, the mountain region is very colder in climate, and you can see those who are staying in mountain region have here you can see the types of trees: oak, pine, deodar. These trees you can only see in the mountain region. Okay, and what are the animals present? Yak, mountain goat, snow leopard, and sheep. Okay, those kind of animals can be seen. And now let's see the adaptations in mountain animals. How these animals can sustain in the mountain region. Animals living in the mountain region have thick skin or fur to protect them very cold. As we know that it is very cold in the top of the mountain region, right? So they have thick skin and thick fur. Look at here, sheep, and look at this leopard. Okay, they have thick fur and long hair to keep them warm. Okay, because they want to survive in such a cold climate. Okay, and this have long hair to keep them warm. And the next, leopard has thick fur on its body, including feet and toes. Also, this protects its feet from the cold and when it walks on the snow. As we know that when it walks on the snow, if the cold in the cold region, we know that they used to walk through snow. Okay, its feet will be the feet will be protects it from the cold and then it walks on the snow. So it has such kind of adaptation. Okay, while walking through the uh, mountain regions, while walking through the snow. The mountain goat has long hair to keep body warm and strong hooves for running in rocky slopes. Look at here the strong hooves. They have to climb up all the hill areas very strongly. Okay, and so that they have strong hooves for running up the rocky slopes of the mountains, and they have long hair. Why they have long hair? They have long hair because they have to protect its body from very heavy cold. Now let's move on to the adaptations in mountain plants. After discussing the mountain animals, now let's move on to the mountain plants. These trees are normally cone shaped and have sloping branches. Look at here. You can see the structure of the tree. It is cone shaped. And how is the branches? Yes, the branches have sloping branches. Okay, and this sloping branches helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Okay, it will easily slide off because their branching is such a way that it cannot, I mean, the whatever level of rainwater is there, that will be fully slide off easily. That's the first adaptation. The second adaptation, the leaves of some these trees are needle like to reduce water loss due to windly weather. Okay, look at here. It's like needle like branches, needle like trees branches were there. Okay, and which in order to reduce the water loss, because in order to reduce the rate of transpiration due to the windy weather, they have a needle like branches. These trees leaves are the needle like branches. Okay, and the next adaptation you can see that, and the deciduous trees means in different occasion it will shed their leaves, right? Yes. So before winters, to prevent loss of water and better survive in winters. So winters, what happens in winter season, what happens? Water freezes and is not available for plant roots. Okay, winter season the water is freezes and it is not available for plant roots. But the deciduous trees have a peculiarity that during before winter season, what happens? It will shed their leaves before winter season to prevent loss of water and better survive in winters. Okay, in winter season means water freezes and is not available for plant roots. Okay, the next terrestrial habitat is grasslands. Grasslands are the characterized as lands dominated by grasses rather than large shrubs or trees. It's not like forest, but thing is that it is dominated by grasses. Not only grasses, large shrubs or trees are there in the grassland. Let's study the adaptations in grassland animals. The animals, those who are living in grassland habitat, what adaptation they have? As we know that commonly what type of animals you can see in this grassland? Yes, we know that the lion, tiger, deer. Okay, first, lion has light brown color. It helps to hide in dry grassland when it hunts for prey. Okay, when it hunts for prey in the dry grasslands, it can hide to get a prey. Okay, and the eyes in front. Look at here. The eyes in front of the face allows it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey, because their adaptation is such a way that their eyes and their body color, the eyes and its body color were blessed by them. Okay, and you can see here and how the shape of eyes. Look at here, this is the predator, this is the prey. Okay, so what happens? You can see this eyes in front of this face allow it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey. Okay, look at here the eyes from every direction, from wherever the sound is there. So wherever the preys are there at a hiding grassland, they can easily locate. So sharp, they have long and sharp claws in their front legs to catch its prey. Once it catches prey, they will hold it tightly by its sharp claws. And lion is a strong and fast animal that can hunt and kill animals. You might have seen in the videos in National Geographical channels and all how these predators are chasing for prey, right? And that this is the most fastest animal like cheetah that lion also have. Okay, and deer is a very beautiful animal you can see in the grassland, has strong teeth for chewing hard plants stems of the forest. Deer has long ears to hear movements of predators. And the next adaptation, you can see what are the first adaptation. It has strong teeth because since it is a herbivorous, It has a strong teeth for chewing hard plants and stems of the forest. And long ears. Look at here. Long ears, and it will helps to hear the movement of predators. Okay. And the thing is that it has a beautiful eyes, but where it located? Yes, eyes located on the sides of its head, so that only two direction they can visible, left and right. It allow it to look it in all direction for danger. Okay, the speed of the deer helps them to run away from the predators, and the brown color helps to hide in dry grasslands. Okay, and this also its body has its own adaptation, right? Yes, this brown color of the body and the speed of the deer helps it to run away from the predators, and the color helps to hide in dry grassland in order to escape from the predators. Okay, and its long ears to bear movement of the predators, and the long ears and eyes and its colors were the adaptation, okay, that helps themselves to escape from the predators. Okay, that brown color is the blessing of those preys and predators to helps to hide in dry grassland. And the next habitat is the polar areas. Polar areas means Antarctica regions. Okay, we know that the minus degree Celsius temperature. Okay, the people, those who are staying over there will be, yes, having their own adaptation, or the animals, those who have been staying there, you know that the penguin, the polar bear, they have their own adaptation to stay in this polar areas. Okay, so what are the adaptations of those penguin and all? First, let us see adaptations in polar animals. This is a beautiful polar bear. Looks like a teddy bear, no? Yes. Yes. What are the adaptation? It has a layer. Yes, the thick white fur and not easily visible in the snowy white background, and its predators and are come unavailable to see it. Okay, and because of this color, the predators cannot see them. And it has any other adaptation. It has two thick layers of fur, such a beautiful thick fur it has. They keep it warm in cold weather, and it has a layer of fat under the skin, so that when we look them it will feel very fatty, because it has a layer of fat under the skin. That is adaptation of polar bear. And it has a long curved and sharp claws. This helps in walk and run. Okay, and it has a very strong sense of smell, and it helps bear to locate and earth its prey. Its adaptation helps to sustain in the polar bear and to chase the prey. Okay, and this color will help them to, okay, we when we go there we cannot identify them because of this adaptation, because the color will be exactly like snow. Okay, so we cannot locate them easily because of its color. Okay, I hope you understood the difference. Now the penguins, the white and black color, white merges well with white background. I mean the white and black and white mixed color. Okay, and next, it also has thick skin and a lot of fat to produce it from cold. Okay, and the huddle, also penguins huddle together, and this they do to keep warm. When they stand together, what happens? Yes, it protect it from, it make it body a warm one. Okay,